You know who has the coolest subtitle? Daredevil, the man without fear. There's this joke, but at the same time kind of a real belief people keep repeating. Daredevil is the most consistent Marvel character of all time, or some kind of variation on Daredevil rules. He allegedly has many all-time great runs under his belt. I wouldn't know, but I wanna know. So I wanna check out Daredevil, starting with one of the most lauded runs of all time, Frank Miller's run. Frank Miller's proper run, the run everyone talks about with him as the writer and the artist, starts at 168 with Elektra. The issue begins with Daredevil getting knocked out by a mysterious woman, Elektra. Daredevil daredoodles off and we enter a flashback retelling their love story. During college, Matt Murdock meets Elektra Nachios and asks her out. She says no to Matt, so Matt does the only thing a man can do when a woman says no. He does a backflip. Nacho instantly changes her mind and they fall in love and have their young romance. A year later, Nacho dumps Matt, leaving him behind crying. Very relatable so far. We doodle back to modern day. Elektra did what all girls do when their hearts are broken. She became an assassin. Matt did what boys do and became a superhero. Two lovers caught in the opposite sides, destined for conflict. In the end, Matt can't bring himself to bring Elektra to justice. Elektra can't bring herself to hurt Matt. In the end, Daredevil walks away, leaving Elektra behind, crying. I will freely admit, I haven't read many Daredevil issues before this. In fact, I don't know almost anything about what came before. I do know this issue hooked me instantly. I love Elektra here. Matt calls to her and she just goes with a smile. I got the impression if he tries anything, she will whoop him. The little smile she gives indicates a level of enjoyment in the danger. At least that's how I'm reading it. Either she's excited for the opportunity for action or amusement that someone would try. Either way, it's intriguing. Her assassin devil might have already been there, so a little bit of a Daredevil of her own. When she's an assassin, we see this big smile on her face because she has, I believe, become who she possibly always wanted to be. I'm going off the first issue alone here, but I am intrigued. Matt is set up as a big fan of justice. He studies to be a lawyer. When he wakes up, one of the first things he thinks about is bringing Elektra to justice. Matt is also set up as having a personal conflict. He ultimately chooses not to catch Elektra out of love. Love and law are his two big loves, and it's fascinating to see those come into conflict. Frank Miller's art here is better than it was in Spectacular Spider-Man, and this has me curious. I wonder if it's because Miller is illustrating his own scripts. Is he just that much better at visualizing his own ideas than other people's, or is the difference in the quality of the script? I like Manlow's Spider-Man. I enjoyed McKenzie's few issues of Daredevil. This one issue by Miller is running circles around both of those, so maybe it's not that it's Miller working on his own script, maybe Miller's writing is simply that much better. The other big reason I could think of might be in the inking. Klaus Janson is inking things, and his shadows go super well with Miller's art. It's very noir. I could see this comic book working in black and white. Maybe that's the difference. Jansen got his name on the omnibus after all, and most inkers don't. The colors are done by D.R. Martin. They are more lively in the past when Matt and Elektra were young. In the current day, it's night, it's raining, and it's, noir looking. Unironically relatable. Elektra drops some good lines on the two. The world hurts you, and you love it all the more. I'm not that strong. This is one of the best first issues I've ever read for any run. This Miller kid is pretty good. I hope he makes it. The second issue introduces us to Bullseye, the third important character in all of this. He has a brain tumor in his brain which makes him hallucinate, and this tumor is killing him. He sees Daredevil everywhere. He goes on a killing spree and Daredevil has to stop him. This is another absolute banger of an issue. The big dilemma in the issue is Bullseye's fate. Daredevil knocks Bullseye out on some train tracks. As the train approaches, Daredevil thinks about how much he wants to see Bullseye die. He thinks he doesn't have the strength to save Bullseye. He's a murderer, an unapologetic one that will never stop. If there was a man who should die, it's him. Daredevil doesn't believe in death sentences. Bullseye is the greatest test of faith possible. Daredevil could leave him, but Daredevil doesn't. He saves Bullseye. Bullseye is put into surgery where his tumor is successfully removed, saving Bullseye's life. What makes Bullseye such an amazing villain here is that ideological battle between them, a Daredevil's optimism versus Bullseye's absolute brutality. Bullseye believes if the bad guy is quick and smart and nasty enough, the bad guy wins. Daredevil retorts he's rejecting the law and working to destroy that structure. If Bullseye is a menace to society, it is society that must make him pay the price. Lieutenant Manalis, a member of the police, the group who are supposed to uphold the law, says he's gonna go free, he's gonna kill again, and next time, it'll be your fault. A harrowing warning of what's to come. The world hurts you, and you love it all the more. Is he strong, or is he just naive? On another note, I see Miller was using TV podcasts to tell his story even before Dark Knight Returns. That's cute. Let's turn the heat up and make this into a foursome. The reinvention of Kingpin. Kingpin was a major Spider-Man villain before this, but despite how hard Spider-Man writers pushed him, and oh did they push him hard, he's today mainly considered a Daredevil villain. Miller, I believe, is the start of that. Here we find Kingpin being dragged back into the game. His rivals are coming for him and Vanessa, so in order to protect her, he must defeat his rivals. He must become Kingpin once more. Miller does a fantastic job giving these stories personal stakes. Everyone has a reason to care about their story. Daredevil is the reason Bullseye is free, so he feels responsible for what happens with him. Bullseye is here for the paycheck and a chance to get back at Daredevil. Kingpin is in it because it's the only way he knows how to protect his wife. In Spider-Man comics, Kingpin struggled to let go of his life of crime. He'd sometimes choose family over vengeance, but I'll be honest, I think that storyline works much better here. I think it's because we get to see the peaceful life here, and we understand why he wants it. Vanessa represents that peace. When she's threatened, Kingpin is forced to act. There's more of a decision to it. Before, it was always kind of a last-minute decision, and honestly always felt a little contrived. Like, you didn't really know why Kingpin cares about Vanessa. He just did. Miller's writing can be very funny at times. Turk lunges out the window. I love this panel specifically. That distinctive smell of cordite and bluey. We're being held at gunpoint. We're being held at gunpoint, Matt. I appreciate that little bit of levity Miller is able to sneak in there. Just like your mom always said, a little bit of humor makes it easier to swallow the darkness. After issue 1, the colors are now done by Glynis Wayne. Wayne? Yeah, apparently Glynis is Len Wayne's wife, the same Len Wayne's whose Spider-Man I covered before. I'm discovering a bunch of family trees on this channel, aren't I? I love the striking pink in the bad guy's office. It makes it feel a little wrong, a little unsettling how natural it is. How unnatural it is. The colors are just fantastic. Miller tends to use simple backgrounds. He strips away all the detailing fight scenes, leaving only the characters. He takes away panel edges so everything bleeds together. It looks pretty and it makes everything faster to read. It focuses everything on the action and it's super effective. The punches feel punchier and it all looks really stylistic. I especially love these in the dark sequences where Bullseye blends into the background. When he is needed, he stands out. It's something that Steve Ditko played around with early Spider-Man story with Molten Man, and later Ross Andrew would do something similar with Tarantella. A commenter mentioned Miller being a big fan of Spider-Man, and this is one of the ways I think it shows. Kingpin's rebirth is done through lighting. We get a panel of Kingpin, a panel of Kingpin in the shadows, and a third panel of Kingpin with the new lighting. In the latter parts, you can't see Kingpin's eyes at all, making him appear almost inhuman, lacking the windows to his soul, showing his fall back into the role of Kingpin. It's very creative, and I really love it. The atmospheric coloring is not just the environment. It doesn't just make the character stand out, it's also sometimes like a light in the world. That's what the color of the world is, so the characters also reflect that color. So if it's in a red room, the characters might be red. If the background is orange to signify a punch, the characters are also shaded with that orange, or shaded with blue when it's kind of that noir feel that you're looking for. Miller uses rain and mist very effectively to give backgrounds texture. It's low in detail, but there's a reason for it. It makes things more immersive. At least those are my guesses why this feels so much better. All in all, the atmosphere in the comic is immaculate. You know what else is top tier? The action. But how? Miller's action is quite dynamic, as it's always changing who has the power in the situation. So, like, look at this. Here's Elektra. Elektra enters a fight. The lights go out, she can't see anything. There are traps on the floor, she's in a bad spot. She uses this to her advantage, as the villain can't attack through the traps, so even if it's dark, she's kinda able to figure out which direction the attack is gonna come from. She gets the upper hand and stabs the bad guy. She wins. But oh no. The dude's apparently immortal and now has her weapons. She's in a bad spot again. She uses her belt as a weapon and goes for the size. Okay, now she's doing good again. But oh no, the dude has a rope knife and uses it to bind her. She's in a bad spot. She manages to grab a sword and stab the dude. She wins. There's a constant shift in power. It's what makes the action exciting. Every few panels, something major happens. It isn't just about punching harder. It's almost like a puzzle for each side to figure out. And it's really exciting to see what they come up with. A big theme of the run seems to be the system of law. How well does it work? How can it create injustice? How the legal system can be ineffective and all the big thoughts my tiny mind can't comprehend. Our fearless Daredevil is an illegal vigilante who champions the law while all his villains question it. Bullseye makes mockery of the law. Kingpin uses the law to his own advantage. Kingpin and Bullseye are the biggest two critiques of the law. Two men who the system simply is unable to handle. Kingpin has his own laws he rules with, a perverted version of real law. Laws are required for order, and Kingpin needs order. It's just a question of whose order. Bullseye is enforcing Kingpin's law, making him kinda in a sense the Daredevil of evil, if I may. Another theme I see forming is one of rebirth. Matt suffered and became Daredevil. Elektra suffered and became a bounty hunter. Fisk became Kingpin. Everyone chooses what they are. What do you do when the world hurts you? All the characters feel like they fit together. I love this stuff. Daredevil has superpowers that come from a radioactive plot device. He can sense where everything is around him. He can tell if someone is lying just by hearing their heartbeats jump whenever they lie. He can do all this amazing stuff. Daredevil is more powerful than a regular human, so taking away those abilities is a great way to make things more interesting. Miller adds tension to his action by giving his heroes his abilities. So the man without fear loses his radar sense for a few issues, making the blind superhero actually blind. Ingenious. Bravo. Must have taken Miller a long time to come up with that one. Blind and you missed? A slap for you. Back in the day, comic books used to really love floating heads. Whenever a character was tripping or remembering their past, the artist would draw these floating heads to symbolize the people they were talking about. Here's Spider-Man talking to a bunch of people. It's kinda cringe, kinda cute. Frank Miller here does full-on spiritual flashbacks. A regular color Daredevil is hanging out with colorless memories, talking to the people. There's actual visual metaphors going on. Daredevil remember his dad telling him to study hard. Daredevil, of course, became Daredevil. Mac got into fights as a kid. He was angry. He feels like he let his dad down by doing the opposite. So in the memory, the books are chained to Daredevil, symbolizing him feeling trapped on the path his life wished for him. And his guilt over becoming a fighter. This probably doesn't sound like much to most people watching this video, but I've been reading a whole lot of Spider-Man comics from the 60s and 70s. It's kind of my thing. I've been watching comics evolve through that, and here, this is a notable innovation from what came before. I don't know, maybe other comic books did this right before this, but it was just Spider-Man that rely on floating heads, but to me, this is innovation, and I love innovation. Reading this run feels like I'm watching modern comic book storytelling falling into place. This feels modern in a way that comics before this just didn't. That's probably why the book has left such an impact on so many people. It holds up perfectly. If you don't read comics, read this one. This is the earliest comic I've read that has aged perfectly to the point that I can recommend it to my friends and they'd probably be into it. I love every moment of this. Miller does a good job of making his characters complex. They all feel like people. And I want to take a moment to appreciate the female characters. Roll your eyes all you want, it's one of the standout features and I will notice it. Miller has a bunch of female characters in this book. Elektra, Heather, and Becky seem to be the main ones. Elektra is a badass psycho, a femme fatale, a dude romance. She's got that get you killed energy that Matt and I find so irresistible. Her looks are absolutely a thing here, but unlike some other books, it doesn't feel weird. Elektra owns her looks. She chooses to be the way she is. She wants to look like this, and that's great. There's an agency to it. And she has internal conflict. She enjoys a little murder on the side, but she also loves Matt Murdock. What's the girl to do? Attractive, there's a slight possibility I could fix her. Literally the perfect woman. There are definitely moments where she's in her underwear a little too many times, but she is genuinely an interesting character who has agency and is making choices and living with the consequences. Then there's Heather. Heather is the other love interest. Heather is a attention-starved flirt. She loves male attention and she's very emotionally immature. She and Matt are constantly on and off again. I'm guessing she's supposed to be bipolar because that's how she comes across. But she also genuinely cares for Matt and stands up for him when someone talks ill of him. She's insecure and maybe lacks direction in life, so she bounces from man to man. Then there's Becky, the secretary for Madame Foggy's law firm. She's in a wheelchair and she's not trying to get to male attention. She's a more normal person, a more grounded. There are other girls from in the comics, like the girl from the 6th issue, but I'm not gonna talk about that one since I don't want to get demonetized. It covers some serious topics, and I like the way the issue handled it. I thought it managed to do it with grace. You can criticize the book if you want. The woman who doesn't get to have a love life is the disabled one. Recording this later, Black Widow will make an appearance and she bends over her spine like she was posing for a magazine when nobody's looking. There's few too many scenes with Elektra in nightgowns. You can have discussions about this book, but then again, Kamala Khan got fridged only like a year or two ago, so Miller's Daredevil still beats modern books. Comic book industry is not advanced enough for those conversations. Finally, the most famous issue of the run. Bullseye is defeated and sent to prison. Elektra takes his place as Kingpin's lead assassin. Bullseye wants that position back, so he escapes prison to hunt down Elektra. The issue is told from Bullseye's perspective, so we get to read his monologues as he rambles on like a madman. He keeps obsessing over Daredevil every chance he gets. Everything makes Bullseye think of his hatred for Daredevil. It's chilling to see just how much this man hates. All of this is basically him telling you he hates Daredevil. Like, Jesus. He finds Elektra and they have a little argument. Despite putting up a good fight, Bullseye manages to hit Elektra's throat. When she's down, he grabs her and stabs her. It's absolutely relentless. Murder has been part of comics for a while, but the way Bullseye does it here, it's an anticlimactic way for Elektra to go. Her story is unfinished. It's brutal to watch. The way the scythe pokes her through her clothes and the way she stumbles away. Bullseye even follows her so he can watch her die. I knew it was coming because it's one of the most famous deaths in comics, but this still gets me. After that, Bullseye goes after Daredevil. Daredevil gets the upper hand, lets Bullseye fall off a building. The dialogue indicates that Daredevil thinks this fall would be fatal. Bullseye does survive, of course, in the hospital. All he can think about is how much he hates Daredevil. I hate you more than ever, and that'll be enough. No matter how many months and years it takes, I'm gonna put myself back together, and then I'll come for you. Just wait. I bet DD's regretting his compulsive need to uphold laws by now. This happens in a single issue too. There's no cliffhanger in the middle of this. All the issues in this run feel jam-packed with stuff. The pace is perfect for me. Granted, this one is a double-sized issue, but still, all the issues are perfectly paced as far as I'm concerned. Miller's art is super easy to read. The minimalist backgrounds strip away everything unnecessary. The way panels flow together is so effortless, and it just makes me just gouge every issue so quickly. I find the book's take on justice quite interesting. A lot of these stories are about system failing to bring justice to people. Daredevil doesn't leave Bullseye on the tracks. A bunch of people, including Elektra, pay the price. Kingpin is untouchable. And now we get to the Punisher arc. You'll recognize it based on the funniest cover I think I've ever seen. Punisher is the Daredevil who gave up on redemption. He believes the system doesn't work, so he brings his own final justice to the bad guys. This Punisher differs from the Netflix show a little bit. In the show, Punisher is an emotional wreck, always ready to explode. His fights are like watching a mad dog let loose. Netflix Punisher hates the people he fights, and it shows in every single movement. Every line is filled with disgust towards the trash of the world. It feels like he's holding himself back from exploding whenever he's not trying to bash people's skulls in. Netflix Punisher is volatile, but he is sympathetic. He is trying to do what he believes is right. The show presents his enemies to be monsters who hurt countless people. He baseball bats a man selling the worst kind of crimes imaginable. He takes down government conspiracies the law could never touch. He is framed as kinda understandable evil that you might even find yourself rooting for a little bit. The comic book Punisher is way worse. He's presented as straight up a little incompetent. He's not taking down the mafia, he's wasting his time beating on junkies. He doesn't just kill, he wants the criminals to feel pain like he did. Miller's Punisher is a broken man who's just pathetic. He's not changing anything. Maybe he takes down a murderer, but that murderer could have been dealt by and is dealt by the law. Everything he does is for nothing else but personal vengeance. I find this Punisher impossible to sympathize with. A man is murdered and Daredevil catches the murderer. The man claims he's innocent and Daredevil hears no change in the heartbeat. The man's telling the truth. Matt Murdock decides to defend this man in the court because he can't really help himself, can he? A bad man, but an innocent man to this specific crime. Murdock wins the case and the man goes free. No chance of another trial? None. Then I might as well tell you that I'm guilty as sin. Daredevil's perfect system has failed. Just like you can kill someone innocent, you can free someone guilty. No system is perfect. I love Daredevil's imperfection. He doesn't offer a perfect world, and he knows that. He supports imperfect solutions, and it's definitely frustrating at times how stubborn he can be, but I love that tragic optimism, upholding such system that simply doesn't work at times. He fails, and sometimes I think I speak for a lot of us when I say he should probably bend the rules a little bit. I'm not advocating for murder or anything, but you know. Daredevil's trapped in his own morality. He believes any man can be fallible, but rules, even if they're imperfect ones, keep people in check. You can fail, but laws mitigate that damage. Daredevil has some weird obsession where he just cannot, for the life of him, see anything but the law, which is super funny when he breaks the law on a daily basis. He's a bit of a hypocrite. This book does such a fantastic job with the supporting cast and giving them time to shine, and tonally the book can be very dark, but it also can be very playful. There will be individual issues that are from the supporting character's point of view. Bullseye had his. Ben Urich has an issue and it's phenomenal. Honestly, it's the high quality of each issue is like even at this point. Not a single one is a miss. Every single issue is top tier. My favorite might be Foggy's issue, Guts. Foggy investigates Kingpin and we follow him stumbling through the criminal underworld. He's completely out of his depth here. Daredevil sneaks in around and helps him out. A bunch of henchmen will try to take out Foggy, so Daredevil cuts the lights and takes everyone out. When the lights come back on, Foggy pretends he did it. The bluff actually works and he convinces the big shot, so the guy takes Foggy to meet Kingpin. Daredevil takes down Kingpin's operation, and Foggy pretends again he's working with Daredevil so Kingpin can't touch Foggy. I absolutely adore this guy. These kinds of issues could get annoying very quickly, bogging down pacing and structure, but they work so well here. I don't know why, but it just works. If I had to guess why, I would point the finger at plot progression. All the issues about the side characters further the plot. They are not flashbacks. We witness the plot developments from further away, but things are still progressing. Bullseye takes out Elektra, Urich uncovers stuff about Kingpin and finds Vanessa. These issues are steps forward instead of side stories. I love every single character in this cast. The final arc of the run deals with the hand. Daredevil gets a headache, his hypersenses become extra hyper, so normal noises become deafeningly loud. He essentially will have a seizure from time to time that almost completely incapacitates him. These seizures are presented with the world fading away. All details disappear and the dialogue becomes big enough to drown the page. I love it. The paneling, the creative storytelling, the art is a major reason what makes this run so good. It really cannot be overstated how good the visuals are. The pencils, the inks, the colors, all of it can combine into something special. I don't know what good lettering looks like, but I'm certain that's top tier too. Daredevil gets help from Stick, who teaches Daredevil his powers never came from radioactivity. It's simply a skill he learned. You know, that's a really good change. It makes Daredevil so much cooler when he's the one who is in control of his own powers. And I recently started reading Fantastic Four, and Mole Man has the same skill. Literally, Mole Man. It's something that is baked into Marvel mythos since issue 1. I love this moment where Daredevil is healing in a Bacta tank and he hears something happen to Stick. He has to leave the tank, but it's scary. It's painful. He has this moment to reflect on it, and he just admits to himself, I'm afraid. It's like he was a human or something. I love it. The penultimate issue gives us Elektra's backstory, how she became the assassin she is. She traveled the world looking for purpose, for someone to train her. She tries to join with Stick. Ultimately, Stick rejects her because she is full of hate and pain, and she uses that pain. Emotions make her too reckless. It's the same reason Stick would reject Daredevil for. She looks for a former student of Stick's to train her, but he's not enough. She joins the Hand. They give her an initiation. Kill her opponent. She does. Only for it to be revealed to be her former master. It's a great reveal, but I do question the twist nature of it. Wouldn't it have been more impactful if Electra realized it was her former sensei and then she chose to kill him anyway? You know, for the mission. You could still have the twist, dead before or after. The shock's still there. The lack of choice makes initiation kinda stupid from Hand's part. Like, how is it a test if she doesn't know? It'd be a better test of loyalty if she knew what she was doing and it would solidify her commitment. I feel like it'd be better with the choice. Kind of a Jon Snow type thing. Not a big deal or anything, just something I was thinking about. We return to present day with the penultimate issue centering around the Hand trying to resurrect Electra. They take her body. In order to find the Hand, Daredevil has to ask Kingpin for information on their location. Daredevil takes down a warehouse for Kingpin for the information. The big finale is Kingpin not defeated, but reaffirmed as the ruler of the mobs, partially with the help of Daredevil. Thinking back on 200 issues of Spider-Man I read before this, I don't think a single villain really won in the end. Goblin came close, but he didn't actually gain much, it's more like a stalemate, and he was defeated then later. Kingpin managed to escape at times, which I never really thought much of, but it is kind of a unique trait to him. And he did beat Spider-Man in his quote-unquote final appearance. He once again comes out on top. This time with his clearest victory yet. Daredevil has to fight over Elektra's body. Elektra is resurrected a little bit, just enough that there's like one faint beat of heart, and Daredevil hears it of course and collapses over the body and begins to beg for her to come back to life. He ignores the rest of the fight. All he sees is her. Emotions make you reckless, or something. The Hand moves in for the kill, but a bunch of dudes with guns rush in and just shoot everybody. Daredevil doesn't even win the fight. He lost. He explicitly loses. The only reason he lives in the end is because Kingpin sent in his men. Kingpin wants Daredevil alive, so he'll be the big bad for criminals to be afraid of. When they're afraid, they'll come to Kingpin for protection. Kingpin, everything Daredevil despises, wins the day. Frank Miller ends with a lot of like open loose ends, if that's the correct word. I don't know how to describe it. It's a little open-ended. The Hand is never definitively defeated as an organization. The Kingpin is more powerful than ever. Bullseye's here to stay, of course. He will come again. Vanessa is still out there, I believe. I don't think her plot was ever resolved. There's a lot of like just little things where it's like those things will keep going on. They don't end. And I feel like that's kind of part of the point. There's this crisis of faith within Daredevil. I think this run is really Frank Miller questioning his own beliefs in these heroes he once believed in. And he's grown disillusioned with that. I think it's a feeling anybody who's grown with superheroes has to go through at some point. I think you can see it in mainstream, right? It's like for a while, superheroes, it was cool to be edgy. And I think that was the same kind of disillusionment there that is in here. Frank Miller is capturing if heroes truly can exist, if this can really work. I think Miller's run is easily one of the best comic books I've ever read. You can stack it against anything released today and it will hold up on every single front. Frank Miller's Daredevil is nothing short of a masterpiece. When the run has been so good, how on earth do you close it out? The final issue of the run is issue 191. Roulette. How does a man search for his own soul? A little pretentious. Let's see if Miller lives up to the snob. Daredevil is kind of mad about everything that has happened. He sees his own foolishness. He sees the cruelty of Bullseye. He sees it all. And all he wants is for Bullseye to die. If not, he doesn't want to be here to fight it anymore. So Daredevil takes a revolver. Daredevil puts the gun against his own head and fires. Empty. I love how the art is in this issue. Miller's simplified backgrounds are used to maximum effect. The world is taken away. It puts all the focus on these two characters and the gun. They see nothing but each other. There is a new inker for this one issue, Terry Austin. His inks are a little rougher than Jensen. It gives the issue this dirty look. My IQ is not high enough to analyze the art, but I'm just gonna say that I love the way this issue looks. Daredevil puts the gun against Bullseye's head and fires. Empty. Daredevil narrates a secondary story about a kid named Chucky. It's all in narration boxes. He's thinking about it, but he doesn't say anything. From Bullseye's perspective, he's stuck with a clearly distraught Daredevil, immobilized. Torture isn't Daredevil's thing. He never goes this far. Bullseye has no idea what's going to happen. He knows what he has done. There is no begging, running, or fighting. He's trapped. Daredevil puts the gun against his own head and fires. Chucky. Chucky comes from a troubled home. Bullying, fear, loneliness. His father is tough, more angry and commanding than loving. Chucky has one escape, TV. On the TV, he sees Daredevil, the all-powerful superhero who defeats evil wherever he shows up. Chucky sees himself in the mask, beating up all the bad guys of the world. Chucky wants to fight. If Chucky was Daredevil, nobody could mess with him. Chucky's father is arrested. A kid at school makes a remark on it. Chucky takes out a gun, points it, and fires. Daredevil puts the gun against Bullseye's head. Men are inspired by their environments. Matt Murdock was inspired by his fighting father. His father is why Matt inspires to be the best he can be. It's why he cares so much. It's where he gets his willpower from. His father's fight. His violence inspired a hero. His father hit him, which is why Matt believes even good people can do bad things, which is why we need laws. We need rules to keep us good. Chucky's father did bad things. In Chucky's mind, that made his father a bad man. And that makes Chucky bad. Matt's father did bad things too. In Matt's mind, that didn't make his father a bad man. Daredevil is born from his environment, which included violence. And as the violence of his childhood inspired Daredevil, Daredevil inspires the new generation. But is it good? Do they see Daredevil's violence as a fight for good, or do they just use Daredevil as an excuse to overpower others? Did Chucky use a gun because his father didn't raise him as well as Matt's? Was it lack of love, or was it Daredevil's influence that made the difference? Was it something inherent to Chucky? Something that was always bound to happen due to his mental illness? Is Chucky evil, or are the people around him evil? If one day Chucky snaps and becomes the villain of the story, will Daredevil beat up Chucky too? Will Daredevil hate Chucky like he does all of Bullseye's kind? Daredevil puts the gun against his own head and fires. Empty. No matter what, Daredevil won't end this. He could easily, but that would require breaking the rules that keep good men from going bad. If he crosses the line, what will that make him? All he's gonna do is be there and fight evil like Bullseye until something else ends it. It won't be the system. It won't be the Daredevil. Either of those things work well enough to stop a man like Bullseye. It's in Daredevil's nature to uphold laws, to save even the worst of people. He can't help himself. It's in Bullseye's nature to be a monster. Whether created by nature or nurture, this is them until something happens. It's just them. Bullseye will get out and murder, and Daredevil will rush in and stop him. Do you think Daredevil hates Bullseye's kind because they're so terrible? Or does he hate them because he knows his ways are incapable of doing anything about them? As long as he is who he is, this will go on. The world hurts you, and you love it all the more. I'm not that strong. What do you think? Does Matt still love the world, or has Matt lost something along the way? Does the answer differ when looking at just Miller's run versus future runs by other writers? To me, it looks like Matt has become self-aware, and he hates it, and he no longer has the same foolish optimism, but he's incapable of doing anything about it because it is so innate, deeply embedded to him from his childhood. At least for now. Change begins with an acknowledgement, after all. If Matt loses his faith in law, what keeps good people good? It might not be strength that drives Daredevil, but the fear of a child. Daredevil puts the gun against Bullseye's head. When it comes to that one final, fatal act of ending you, my gun has no bullets. I guess we're stuck with each other, Bullseye.